What is up, everyone? Korey Kingston here from the Drum Brigade. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Acceptance Podcast, episode 3 on the Drum Brigade Network. So happy to be here. Had a wonderful morning on the beach doing my morning routine with my wife. It's so much fun. Oh yeah, it's a great day. So anyways, before we get started with today's topic, I wanted to just let you know a couple things that the Drum Brigade is doing right now. First of all, me and Funky Phil are going to be back with Season 7 of the Drum Brigade Podcast. Yes, show 101. We're looking forward to that. It's the morning show for drummers or musicians or anybody who wants to give us a listen. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's really exciting, and yeah, I'm happy to jump back on the mic with Funky Phil. So yeah, and then other than that, we have some other things that we're constantly doing with Drum Brigade. Our Chops and Coffee is going off every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're having so much fun at 7 a.m. in the morning with a group of drummers on Zoom. We also have a chat room now on the front page, or on the Chops and Coffee page, I should say, of the Drum Brigade website. And we have Instagram chat room as well. So if you guys want to join us for Chops and Coffee, 7 a.m. in the morning, we do a warm-up. We have some fun. It's all good. All things done through acceptance and belonging. So, and lastly, we have, of course, our merch store. We have amazing merch that helps you to identify as a cool drummer, a drummer that's part of this movement of acceptance. And accepting other drummers because they're drummers. I can't say that enough. I'm resonating so hard with that. I just love it, for what I see out there with other drummers and other teachers, and to see that we're different and we're growing and we're flourishing because of that. It's amazing. So I can't express that enough. Anyways, our merch store is awesome. It's just all on drumbrigade.com. And then also we have some lesson stuff. We do private lessons, remote lessons, group lessons, all that stuff. So me, Funky Phil, a couple other guys, Kevin Aguchi, Zach Nager, some Drum Brigade core members. And yeah, you want to get involved, you want to feel accepted, you want to belong, hit us up. Just use the contact form, ask any questions, DM us. It all comes directly to me or any of the other guys. And so, yeah, just go ahead and do that. All right. So anyways, this is the Acceptance Podcast, episode number 3. Happy to be here. Thank you guys for listening. And yeah, Acceptance Podcast number 3. Taking massive action is showing up every day and focusing on the process of growth and improvement. That has some heavy meaning for me. I got that quote from a gentleman by the name of Bob Heilich. He has a podcast called Your Virtual Upline, and it's a motivational podcast for business. Taking massive action is showing up every day and focusing on the process of growth and improvement. So what does that mean? Well, as usual, I can show you what that means for myself, and maybe you can benefit from it. But think about it. This podcast title for this episode is growth. So it's about growth mindset, especially in our industry in my industry of music or drumming, teaching, etc., etc. So, there's a couple heavy things in here. Taking massive action. I mean, to take massive action means that, you have to put some effort behind what you're doing. You can't just let it happen to you. Showing up every day, it's something I talk about every morning we do Chops and Coffee, showing up. We have to show up every day for life. We have to show up every day, for how we're going to take on our day. But also for musicians, that has different meaning. In order to keep your gig, you have to show up. That's the first part, right? And then how you show up. Do you show up prepared? Do you show up, with a good attitude? Do you get along with people? So showing up is a big deal for musicians. We have to show up for our day. We have to show up for our gigs. It's how we show up, all of that stuff. And then focusing on the process of growth or improvement. That's really what this is about. Focusing on process of growth and improvement. So how do we do that? Well, let's get into it. So there's two types of people in this world. It's two types of people in music too, but in general, there's two types of people in this world. There's people that have a fixed mindset, and there's people that have a growth mindset. So what is the difference? And which one are you? That's the bigger question. Which one are you? I can tell you which one I was, and I can tell you which one I am now, but it still is a work in progress. So let's break it down. Fixed mindset people. Fixed mindset people. I'm guessing from what I see, the research that I do, and how I look around and what I see, especially among teachers and among musicians, but especially among drummers, and why I base my whole business off of the word acceptance, is most people, unfortunately, have a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset believe that you are not in control. You're born with your skills, or you have natural talent. So a lot of drummers, well, he just has natural talent. I just don't have that gift. That's fixed mindset. You're always thinking about what you can't do or why you can't do it. Oh man, I can't do that. I just don't have the hands like that guy does. I mean, this is something that I've said for years. Oh man, I don't know, man. That's just not I can't play that kind of music. That's just not me. I'm not that guy. All right. You're always thinking about the reasons why you can't do something versus why you can. Fixed mindset people are afraid to fail. Afraid to fail. So what are people going to think of me? Oh man, if I butcher this chop that I've been working on for months, what are people going to think? Oh, I can't post that on social media. What are people going to think of me? Oh my gosh, I can't. Well, what if this isn't perfect? So people aren't going to, I've heard this from all kinds of musicians. Some of the best drummers I know have said those words to me. Don't post that, man. What are you doing going live right now? You don't post this. What are people going to think? You're afraid to fail. Fixed mindset. Fixed mindset. Fixed mindset people are intimidated by others. So they see other people's greatness and they shrink back from that. Man, if that wasn't me a few years ago, even a few months ago, something constantly I'm working on. Dude, this guy's way better than me. He's been doing it longer than I have. So I can't. So therefore, I'm not worthy of doing what I do. In my case, I'm not worthy of playing my drums. Fixed mindset. Fixed mindset people are bitter and jealous toward others when they succeed. And I'm talking genuinely. Now, I'm not saying like a lot of fixed mindset people go, man, I'm so happy for you. But genuinely, are you though? Seriously. Are you genuinely happy for others when they succeed? Most of the time, if you're feeling that bitter feeling, unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're probably a fixed mindset person. There's a million other things that fixed mindset people do, but fixed mindset people are bad people too. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can succeed, but it's difficult. So what about growth mindset people? That's what we're talking about here, right? Growth mindset people. You believe that you are in control of your abilities. You don't have to be born with something. You don't have to have natural talent. You believe that you get your abilities, you get your skills through hard work. So you're in control of your abilities. You're not born with it. You're not afraid to fail. Not afraid to fail. You learn from your failures. Not afraid to fail. You're not afraid what people think. You laugh at your mistakes, and you let other people laugh at your mistakes. But you're not intimidated by failure. You're not afraid to fail. That's what a growth mindset person is. They grow from their failures. You aren't intimidated by others. You don't care what other people think, as I said. You're inspired by others. So when you see other people with greatness, you think to yourself, man, they are really great. That makes me want to be inspired to grow too, so I can be great. Okay, that's the difference of a fixed mindset person and a growth mindset person. You're genuinely happy when others succeed. Genuinely. Genuinely, deep down in your heart, in your gut, in your deep inside your thoughts, You're very happy when other people, it doesn't even cross your mind like, dude, whatever. I mean, that wasn't that dope. It doesn't even cross your mind. You're like, dang, that was dope. He's successful because he worked hard for that. That's really hard to do, but it is possible. So again, like I always say, this starts with our minds. This starts in our minds. It starts with how you think. It starts with how you want to succeed, how you want to grow, how you want to improve. Remember, it takes massive action. So there's something that I like to call, and I've heard this a bunch of different ways, but it's the 3 S's. Okay, this is what hinders us from being growth mindset people. The 3 S's: stop sign stories. The stories that stop you from moving forward. So what is a stop sign story? Well, I'm going to tell you about my stop sign stories. So stop sign stories are the thing that you keep telling yourself why you can't do something, why you can't do it. So for me, when I started teaching, when I wanted to open up Drum Brigade School, which is how Drum Brigade started, I had a bunch of stop sign stories. I had a bunch. I still have to deal with stop sign stories. Okay. But my biggest one was, well, my deep, dark, dirty secret is I never went to college. I didn't go to college for music. So I didn't study music. So why would anybody want to study with me? That doesn't make me, you have to go to college to be the authority on whatever it is that you're teaching. Do you though? Do you? If you think that, I don't know, you're hindering yourself. So again, this is my stop sign stories. I didn't go to college. So, why would people want to study with me? I never had that one major gig. Like I'm talking major gig. Like I've had some great gigs. I've played some great places. This is my red light story there, or my stop sign story. I've heard it called red light story too. Stop sign story. My stop sign story. I never had that Tom Petty-esque gig. That one gig when you tell people, when you tell people, yeah, I'm a professional drummer, and then they go, oh, really? Who do you play with? And you're like, well, it's probably no one you've ever heard of. That right there is a red light, a stop sign red light story, okay? I didn't grow up playing in church, so I'm not a gospel chop guy. So what am I going to teach people? People only want to learn how to play chops. I mean, that was one of my stories that I always told people. I would never, ever play in a room full of other drummers, like among my peers. I wouldn't participate in the thing that I love the most. Like I said, I was intimidated by other people. So I would literally force myself to go behind the drums, and I would feel like my arms just don't know how to move. Like my hands don't know how to work. I'm so in my own head that I can't even perform like I normally perform. I would totally, completely feel inferior to other drummers. That's my stop sign story. There was a time when I started this Drum Brigade business, and I couldn't even tell people that I was a business owner. People would always say, what's Drum Brigade? And I couldn't say, well, it's my company. It was like I was so in my own head about what a company is and what are people going to, who cares if you say you have a company? But I literally could not say it. Well, it's a thing. I wouldn't even know how to explain. Instead of just going, oh, it's my company that I started. I do drum lessons and I do this and I do that. And we have some apparel and it's like, so how well do you think my business was doing when I couldn't even say that I was the owner of a business? Seriously. I mean, these are some serious stop sign stories here. I would let other people feel like I couldn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. So I would let people intimidate me into like their stop sign story, basically. I couldn't, like I said, I would compare myself to everybody else. I would feel like, well, I would look at the success of others, the success of all these other drummers. I never lost the confidence of like, hey, I could do that gig. But I would shoot myself down before I'd even get there. Well, what happens if I'm gone all the time on tour? Or what happens if my business gets super successful? Then what are people going to think? Like, dude, that's what you want. Well, what if it gets out of control and I can't handle the success that I have? Like, what if? Those are all of this is the biggest thing. What happens if this happens? What are you thinking about that for? And so that's how I would think. Other people's stop sign stories I've heard through other drummers. I'm too old. I can't do this. I have no experience. I haven't toured like you have, comparing others to me. Well, if I could just do what you do, I mean, come on. Like, I've literally had people, hey, I look at what you do and the success that you've had, and if I could just do that, then I would feel successful. And then meanwhile, they don't even know about my stop sign stories of me not even being able to say I'm a business owner, me not even be able to play in a room full of other drummers, me not even being able to sit on a drum set at NAMM show and play, because who might be watching me. I don't know, what are people going to think? What if I mess up? What if? They don't even know that. I'm having the same stop sign stories as them. And I'm thinking, man, if I could just be like, I'm opening up a drum school, if I could just be like Drumeo, shooting for the moon when I haven't even started down the path yet. If I could just be like Mike Johnston, I mean, these are real, like, stop sign stories, right? So yeah. Other ones I've heard even in Chops and Coffee, well, I can't read, I'm not as good as you guys, and I can't afford lessons with you, so like I guess I just should give up, right? I mean, like, it's crazy. It's crazy, these stop sign stories. So how do we overcome that? I mean, those are like negative things, and everybody has different stop sign stories. Everybody's is different. Everyone. I mean, one other one that was a big one for me is, what if I get an advanced student and then I can't teach him, like what I need to teach him? What if he's in college and he's trying to further his abilities on the drums, and he comes to me because he likes what I'm about and he likes the vibe of Drum Brigade and he wants to feel like he belongs? Well, what if I get somebody like that? And what do I teach him? Like, what do I don't know. My skills aren't probably as good as his. I would feel intimidated by students that were coming to learn from me. I mean, these are real. This is real stop sign stories that so many people have. And so anyways, how do we get over that? How do we stop thinking like that? How do we trust our abilities? How do we trust, put confidence in what we do? How do we pursue what we love to do, like what was in the podcast last week, and trust that process? Well, there's a couple things. So when I was outside of drumming, as many of you guys know, I was really into motocross. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just a sport I love. It's a sport I grew up doing, and I love the dedication and the discipline you have to have for that sport. It's one of the most taxing sports besides soccer that you can have. A lot of people don't know that, but it's true. I loved it. It was the funnest thing in the world. So fun. I stopped doing it because I had a major injury. Huge failure on that. But anyways, when I was doing that, I got self-proclaimed, but I got pretty good at motocross. Okay. I got to a point where I was really enjoying it. I could go fast. I can basically accomplish anything that I needed to accomplish. I could jump, and yeah, I got pretty decent at it before my injury, of course. Well, what helped me to get good at motocross was studying with a coach. And this gentleman, Mike Fedoro, has a history. He was a professional in his time as well. He helps professional athletes, these professional motocross and supercross riders, to be fast and win races and race on a professional level, like in the stadiums and all that stuff. So one day I went to him and I was like, hey man, like, just hanging out, looking for some mentorship, looking for some direction. And he was training a pro guy that was getting ready to race in Anaheim Stadium on that weekend. And I said, man, this guy's a pro and he's coming to you. and you've trained me, and I'm just a weekend warrior guy. I'm not a pro. What is it that you're showing him that is so like great and so different? And he's like, well, first of all, he's like, I know that I can train this guy. I know that he needs me. And he's like, what he doesn't know, he has no idea if I got on a bike right now and I jumped on the track with him. He has no idea if I'm faster than him or not. But my confidence is telling him that he needs to listen to me. 1. 2, we're not going over anything that he doesn't know. What I'm teaching him is to shut off his brain and do the fundamentals that we've worked on since he was a little kid. So he's like, since he was probably 5 years old, we've been working on fundamentals, how to brake properly, how to turn properly, how to shift gears, and how to your body position, and all of these different things that you need to go as fast as you can around this track. We're going over those things. We're working on fundamentals, and I'm showing him how to shut his brain off. So when it comes time and all the fans are screaming in that stadium on the weekend, his brain is shut off and he goes into muscle memory mode and knows how to do what we've been working on. That's all I'm doing. I'm giving him the confidence he needs to shut his brain off. That was like so crazy for me. That changed everything for me. That changed how I teach drums. That changed how I play drums. That changes everything for me. Shutting my brain off and stopping myself from getting in my own way. And so he was like, once these guys start thinking about what they're doing, it's potentially life or death or a very, very serious injury. They could be paralyzed for life if they start thinking. So for us on the drums or for us in music or in business, yeah, we have a lot to lose. For me as a drummer, yes, we can hurt our ego a little bit, but it's not life or death. It sometimes feels like life or death, but it's not life or death. But what he's doing is taking away those fears and doubts that you have. He's taking away those. He's putting it into action. He's making you do what you already know how to do. I mean, seriously, like for me, I've been playing drums since I was 3 years old. I know how to play drums. There is no denying that. You can say whatever you want. Yes, I never said I was the best at playing drums. I said that I know how to play drums. I know how to teach drums. Okay? How am I going to doubt what I know how to do? I just got to stop getting in my own way. You got to stop thinking about what you're doing and stop getting in your own way. He likened it, my friend Mike Fedoro likened it to an Olympic athlete. When you train for the Olympics, you're working for years on, like if you're a runner, getting your cadence right, having sprints, getting your endurance up, whatever it is that professional runners do. Okay. And you train and train and train and train and train until you get to the Olympics, and then you just do what you know how to do. And you know that you are doing it, you're capable of doing it because you've trained for this. You've trained for this. That's your action right there. That's taking massive action. You have trained so hard for this that there's no denial that you know how to do what you're doing. That's taking massive action. So if you don't practice, you don't put things into play, you just sit on the couch all day and watch Netflix, and you're bummed out that everybody else is progressing, but you're not, that's fixed mindset. Taking it into action is what professional athletes do. They train. And then when it comes time to make it count, they shut their brains off and do what they know how to do. When it comes time for us to play that gig, if we haven't prepared, or if it comes time for us to play that session and we haven't gone over the material, or we haven't worked on our reading charts, or we haven't worked on playing to a click, or we haven't worked on this chop that we need to do to do whatever it is that we do, that's fixed mindset. You're not taking it into action. Okay, so that's a big deal. Stop getting in your way and take major action to fix it so you don't get in your own way and you don't overthink it. An Olympic athlete is not thinking, okay, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. He's going to trip over himself. A professional athlete has trained to get where he is, and when it comes time to make it count, he does his absolute best because he's trained for it. As soon as he gets in his own head, that's when things get messed up. All right. So let's go over some ways on how we can overcome fixed mindset. I love that analogy so much with Mike Fedoro. Mike is such a close friend of mine, and he is such an incredible coach, an incredible trainer, because it's so simple. And the confidence that he instills in you, the confidence that he instilled in me as an amateur, a very, very, very amateur motocross rider, I was accomplishing things I never, ever, ever thought I could accomplish. And taking that to what I actually do, my field in drumming and speaking and podcasting and doing all of that stuff, man, it's incredible what you can accomplish. So how do we do that? Well, one of the first things that I have written down here is replace I can't with I get to learn how to. Okay, so I can't is a big word. I always have these things in my lessons. I had a student one time that would always say I can't. Every time I would take him, I would try to teach him something. Okay, today he was a beginner student. Today we're going to learn a new rudiment. We're going to learn paradiddles. It's right, left, right, left, right, left, left. I can't. I'm like, what do you mean? You didn't even try. I can't do that yet. I can't. Or no, he didn't say I can't do that yet. He would just be like, I can't. Well, I can't. And so finally I started getting so tired of him saying I can't that every time he said I can't, there was rules in place and there was consequences in place. So every time he said I can't, we had to do 1 minute of a certain rudiment. Okay, cool. Have it your way. We're going to do 16th notes, single strokes for 1 minute straight. I can't. Okay, now it's 2 minutes. I can't. Okay, now it's 5 minutes. We can do this for your whole lesson. Every time you said I can't, it increased by more and more and more. And so we only had to do that a couple times. You can't say I can't. You can say I can't yet. Or you can say I get to learn how to. I can't play paradiddles. No, I get to learn how to play paradiddles. I'm not going to give you anything that you don't know how to do yet. Okay, so when you switch that, what you say in your mind, like I'm a big fan of affirmations. When you fix what you say, your brain and your body, your mind changes. So if you fix yourself from being a fixed mindset person into a growth mindset, I get to learn how to, that's telling yourself you can grow into this. You can do it. You just have to learn it. You just have to practice it. And then you can do it. It's that simple. Replace I can't with I can't yet, or I get to learn how to. My wife was always telling me, I'm always saying, oh man, I got to go to the studio. I got lessons. She always tells me, you should replace I can't with I get to. I get to go to the studio. I get to teach my lessons. I get to play my gig. It's true. I get to, and I'm so happy to do it. If you're getting to do what you truly love to do, that's exactly how you're going to feel. Man, I get to do this. If you don't know how to do it, I get to learn how to do it. It really, really will help. Your challenges are not challenges. They're opportunities. Okay, so that goes along nicely with you get to learn how to. Your challenges are not challenges. They're opportunities. So look at your challenges. If something is difficult, look at an opportunity to learn. We can't stop. We never stop learning. Once you stop learning, you are totally destined for a fixed mindset. If you're learning, you're in a growth mindset. You're growing. So this challenge is an opportunity to grow. Man, I mean, I've talked about it so much on this episode, but stop worrying about what other people think. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you're worried about posting on social media and you think that people are going to spend more than like 5 seconds on your post until they just keep swiping, like, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. People don't care. Like, they're only going to watch your thing once. If it's really funny or really entertaining, they might watch it twice and they might show somebody, but they're just going to keep swiping until the next thing. So, don't worry about what other people think. If you mess up so bad, like if you're a drummer like me or musician and you mess up, dude, laugh. Laugh. I have butchered stuff so horribly on gigs before. I'm talking, and I'm going to talk about all of this stuff in different episodes. And like, I have a failure episode coming up, but I've counted songs off that were supposed to be in 6/8, and I've counted them off in 4. And like, I've counted stuff off on the wrong. I've counted in the wrong song. Like, I was on tour with a band on a stage, a sold out show, and I skipped a song and I counted the wrong song, and it's like, sorry guys, everybody laughed. It wasn't like, dude, you're fired. It was just like, dude, mistakes happen. This is part of life. Grow from your mistakes. Stop worrying about it. Just fail. It's fine. Stop worrying about what people think. Start thinking that people accept you for what you do. You're accepted. You belong where you're at. People believe it if you believe it. So if you realize that you are accepted, you realize that you belong, most likely people aren't thinking what you're thinking. People aren't thinking, dude, I suck, I'm a total failure. People are probably admiring what you're doing. People are probably laughing at a silly mistake that you're like beating yourself up over. It's fine. People love seeing the real life, the real version of people. Nobody's perfect. So I can't stand, that's one of my biggest pet peeves with people, like, don't post something unless it's perfect. And like, those people, I purposely post me butchering something or messing something up and them laughing at it and being like, see, it's not that big of a deal. If you are really holding me accountable for that, you got a problem. So it's also about, if you're worried about what other people think, I have to stop and think about who I'm associating with, who I'm hanging out with. I have an affirmation that it says, my affirmation is, I am centered, I am honored, and I'm respected when I play drums. Anything other than that, I delete. And that's one of my biggest affirmations, especially when I'm about to play drums, when I'm about to go on stage. I will repeat that to myself. And but the biggest part that I like about that is anything other than that, I delete. And I literally picture a big delete button that I push, and it just flushes those people away, or those negative things away. So for people that are going to be so judgy on you and not respect what you do because you love it and not allow you to grow, bro, delete it. Delete those people. You got to hang out with people that are going to help you grow. I try to hang out with people that are positive and that are going to help me grow. People that don't want to help me grow and I can't help them grow, delete. I'm out. I don't have time to hang out with somebody like that. That's going to be negative and judgmental. And why would you post that? And why would you do that? What are people going to think? Blah, 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 blah. Because those kind of people are going to rub off on you. Those fixed mindset people are going to rub off on you. So it's all about who you're hanging out with. Don't worry about what people think. People that are going to bring you down and not be positive and supportive, delete. Have fun being fixed. I'm growing over here. All right. Focus on the learning process, not the end result. So again, when we're focused on the opportunity, not the challenge, the opportunity to grow and the learning process, the end result is going to be there. But if you're focused on the end result, again, my triple S story, my stop sign story. Oh, I'm starting a school. Okay, so I have to be as big as Drumeo, or I have to be as big as Mike Johnston, or whatever. I'm focusing on the end result. The end result will be there. You got to focus on the learning process. I have had and have a lot to learn in my teaching and my playing and all of that stuff. So I'm putting my confidence in that learning process because that's helping me to grow and it's molding me into who I actually am. All right. So a lot of times it's not necessarily what you thought you needed to work on. That's why you have to look at the end result. So, that's why you have to not look at the end result. And that was again evident in my teaching. When I was looking at the end result with my company, I couldn't hold on to students. I couldn't, I was in my own head. I felt like I couldn't teach people. I was losing people because I lacked the confidence. Instead of teaching them what I know, I was teaching them what I didn't know because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. I was looking at the end result. I have to be like somebody else. All right. So yeah, Don't do that. Don't lose sight of the big picture. Keep your goal in mind, but use that to propel you. Okay, so focus on that process to help you propel forward. That end goal is not the end result. If you have like end goals, like, okay, like I want to make this kind of money. I want to live like this. I want to do this. I want, you envision, that's a different topic, but you envision your company, your life, your ability, your whatever it is to be a certain way. That's your end goal. But the end result, oh my gosh, I'm not making it unless I have 10,000 followers or 20,000 followers, or you're missing the point. Focus on the growth. Focus on the growth, and that's it. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't be like, I'm not going to make it unless I play like Tony Royster. Focus on growing into some of those things, and then use that to mold yourself. Big one here. One of the biggest ones that I have on this page here. Make mistakes. Like, make mistakes loud and proud. Okay? So make mistakes, laugh at them, but do it like you mean it. This is a big part of my teaching. When my students make mistakes, it's not like, how dare you, and I hit their hands with a ruler or a stick like some teachers were. That's not how I roll. When you make mistakes, that's what you learn from. That's what you grow from. It's not a failure. It's just teaching you what not to do again. So a lot of times in our lessons, I'll say, okay, if you make a mistake, like on stage, do it again, but do it louder and prouder and with more confidence this time. And just have the face like, yeah, what are you looking at? I meant to do that. It's how I play. Okay? And sometimes it'll show you what you want to do just in a different way. Sometimes your mistake will grow into something beautiful. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Try stuff. And again, if it's like a huge mistake, laugh. Just laugh at it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. So learn from your mistakes. Don't be afraid to make them. And keep it going. Don't stop. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that you got to show up every day. Like I said at the beginning, taking massive action is showing up every day. Focusing on the process of growth and improvement. So showing up every day is keeping it consistent. You got to show up with that in mind, your goal in mind. You're trusting the process of showing up every day, keeping it consistent. It takes time, but you have to work at it. But you got to know that there's no shortcuts. If you're looking for a shortcut, you're going to buy your followers and you're going to do this and do that just to get your end result right now. Nothing works like that. There's nothing that works like that. You have to put in the effort. Nothing is genuine like that. It's not organic. It's just, you're looking for fast results. It's like the people that, I've had friends and people that were close to me that, like dieting. Everybody wants to be skinny and be fit and all that stuff, but they don't want to put in the work of just changing their diet and going to the gym, getting exercise. There's no easy way to do this. Yeah, you can take a pill, but is that really healthy? And is it going to stick? Come on. There's no easy way. You got to just put in the work. Trust the process. Keep showing up every day. Don't stop. So it's ongoing. And continuously set new goals. So once you achieve one goal, that's not the end. Achieve another goal. Keep setting goals, make mistakes, do it, keep trusting the process, and you got this. You got it. So take action now. That's the first part of that sentence. Take massive action now. Taking massive action is showing up every day, focusing on the process of growth and improvement. So again, 3 things. Take massive action. Start today. Show up every day. How you show up for life, how you show up with an attitude, and just also literally showing up, right? Like an athlete. An athlete doesn't hope that he wins the Olympics, or a professional motocross racer doesn't hope he wins. The professional motocross racer, the professional athlete, the professional musician puts in the work. They take action and they show up for it. It's important. focus on the process of growth. If that's in your mind, you're growing from this. You're not afraid to make mistakes. You're not worried what other people think. And then you can improve. It's really important. One of my close friends has this credo, has this saying, has this affirmation, and I'm going to end it with this. He brought this up in Chops and Coffee yesterday. His name is Jason. Jason, thanks for sharing this. He says, yes, this is a skill I have not yet developed. Yes, this is a goal I have not yet met, but I have the actions and intent and commitment to grow and achieve it. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Acceptance Podcast. I'm so happy to be able to do another episode 3 on growth. And you know what? I'm really grateful for you guys that listen. I'm really appreciative of the feedback that I've been getting. Believe it or not, this has been a stop sign story for me before I started doing this podcast. I was always thinking about the reasons why I shouldn't do this and what people were going to think. And it proves right there that when you trust your process, you trust what you have in mind, you really enjoy doing what you're doing, people will have positive things or positive feedback to say. So I'm really happy that I'm doing this. We're doing this together, and I'm really grateful for you guys listening. So thank you. If you guys want to take it a step further, you can always leave a review on iTunes or any of the platforms that we use. So iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, all of the above. It really helps us move up in the algorithms and all of that stuff. So yeah, please leave us a positive review, and it would be greatly appreciated. All other information you can find at drumbrigade.com. And come join us for Chops and Coffee. Come join us for lessons. Come hang out with us. Just drop us a DM and say hello. Once again, this is episode 3 of the Acceptance Podcast on the Drum Brigade Network. Thank you guys for helping me to feel accepted and feel like I belong behind this microphone today. And I hope you guys feel accepted and feel that you belong as well.
Drum Brigade.